Hey, hockey fans, welcome to Goal Line Hockey. And today we're getting close to the end of the season outlook series today. As we take a look at the Boston Bruins, who lost in the Stanley Cup final in Game 7 in Boston. We're going to take a look at the Boston Bruins as we continue the season outlook series. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and a subscribe. Make sure to check out our Instagram at Goal Line Hockey. And let's talk about the Boston Bruins. So the Boston Bruins, let's talk about the Bruins here. They now have officially lost the Stanley Cup here in 2019. 6 years ago, the Cup was sitting in Boston, same sort of situation, and the Bruins fell apart. They were unable to win it at home, and the Cup was handed to the road team in TD Garden. So the Bruins lost to the Blackhawks in heartbreaking fashion back in 2013. Brian Bickle and Dave Bolin getting the game-winning goals for the Chicago Blackhawks to win the Stanley Cup. Building a dynasty there in Chicago, and the Boston Bruins helped that. And the St. Louis Blues come in to Game 7 here in 2019 and make work of the Boston Bruins. Very disappointing end for the Boston Bruins. Unbelievable season. The City of Champions will be down one less ring this year. Oh, boo-hoo. But really, unbelievable year for the Boston Bruins. Like I said, frustrating how things ended. And people will bring up what happened in Game 5 about the non-call and things like that. It got so beyond that. They won Game 6. They played really well in Game 6, but they weren't able to do what they had to in Game 7 at home. And they lose the Cup. Really disappointing. Now, the reason I'm really upset about this, and believe me, I'm very happy St. Louis won. I had St. Louis winning the series in 6 games, as if you check out my predictions on my playoff predictions series that is now done because the 2019 playoffs are over. But I was going for St. Louis, but because of the situation with Zdeno Chara, I wouldn't have been upset at all if the Boston Bruins won the Stanley Cup. If Charlie Coyle got the game-winning goal, hometown Boston kid gets the game winner, in Boston, that would have been amazing. I was rooting for both sides at points. I like Torrey Krug, one of my favorite players. Definitely in Boston, probably my favorite player. We've seen the emergence now of guys like Charlie McAvoy and what he can be in the future, and that's where we're going to get to next. So people are coming out saying the window's closed for the Boston Bruins, this and that. Zdeno Chara's gone. Chara may have another year left, and that may be for the worse, honestly, for the Boston Bruins. Depends on how much gas is left in a guy like Patrice Bergeron as well. I think if he won the Cup this year, there would have had to be conversation. He has been one of the best forwards in Boston Bruins history, and he wasn't able to get it done. He was kind of invisible in this series. I mean, he did get the team to rally in Game 6, was able to get them to win that game, but besides that, he was pretty quiet in terms of being kept off the board in the series. So the St. Louis Blues had an unbelievable series. They kind of bullied around the Boston Bruins a little bit, and that's kind of weird to think because the Boston Bruins have been doing that all playoffs long this year against the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Columbus Blue Jackets, the Carolina Hurricanes. They were able to bully those teams around a little bit here and there, and they weren't able to get an inch off the St. Louis Blues. So really, it's, the goaltending, Tuukka Rask. We know that Tuukka Rask can get this team to the Stanley Cup Finals. I don't understand all the criticism he takes. It's kind of ridiculous. He got that team to the Stanley Cup Finals. He got them to Game 7. If it weren't for him, they probably could have been out in the first round against the Leafs. So, really, it's all the fans asking for his head are kind of nuts. It's disappointing, right? You beat the Leafs again. You wonder what the window is. I believe they still have a chance to compete. It's just going to be more difficult moving forward. I think that Atlantic Division is going to be more competitive. The Montreal Canadiens could be going in this year. with a lot better of a team. The Florida Panthers as well seem to be willing to spend a lot of money. The Toronto Maple Leafs seem like they could only be getting better depending on what happens with Mitch Marner. So it's not going to be easy. Just in general, getting through the conference finals could be difficult looking at what's going on in the Metro as well. So the Boston Bruins are going to have a lot more competition for, within the conference trying to get to the Stanley Cup final. Will not be easy for the Bees. But, let me know what you guys think. I think the Boston Bruins have another 1 or 2 years. I think it comes down to Bergeron. We know how good Bergeron is. Past is going to be there for a while, David Pastrnak. So that's not a guy to worry about. Brad Marchand, I think he's got some time left. So, it's a game of cat and mouse, really. I think it's going to come down to, which teams come out on the other side, and the Blues were able to do that. The Bruins are going to be really good. They don't have a ton of cap space, but they can make some minimal adjustments, I think, maybe in the bottom 6, if they can. Definitely in terms of defense, they need to add a little bit. But overall, a really solid team in Boston, and I would not be surprised within the next 1 or 2 years this team comes back into the Stanley Cup Finals picture. So, thank you for watching here at Goal Line Hockey. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and a subscribe. Make sure to comment below what you think of the Boston Bruins. Do you think their window is closing, or do they still have another run in them? Thank you for watching, and have a good day.